right, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? It's a pleasure to see you all. The format's a little bit different today. However, I have a very special guest here. He's a longtime streamer of video games and content creator on YouTube. He's one of the most prolific people in our community. I'd like everybody, please welcome Mr. Jay Gleez. Woo!
Hey, Davey, thank you so much for having me on, man.
Oh, yes. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're a busy man, so I really appreciate you just being here,
No problem.
It's really good. I've been watching you ever since the beginning of MKX, and I tell people on my stream all the time that I actually first met you in Las Vegas at Evo.
Yeah, that was a great time. That was my first Evo also.
Was it? Mine too. Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's great.
It was cool. It was definitely an experience. Getting to meet not every, but a lot of the players that you either played online or have seen at other tournaments that aren't local to you. That was my first venture across the country.
Great.
To compete at a tournament. It was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think when you start going offline to tournaments, the atmosphere really changes. You really start to find that sense of community almost after being able to put a face to the online names that you see on a regular basis. So it's just one of those things. How long ago did you start creating content? I know you've been at it for YouTube and Twitch for a while now.
Yeah, for YouTube, I actually started with Madden. That was like the game that I was playing at the time. I competed in Madden since my first tournament for that was 2003. So
wow.
Yeah, really long time. So my YouTube first started off as all Madden, and that was probably 2014 So about 4 or 5 years now. I've been working with YouTube, and it keeps changing, and it's something you have to always adapt to. So it's definitely an interesting type of dynamic that goes into making videos and trying to have people see the videos that you make.
What was the first type game that you started streaming with Madden? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Madden was the first game that I made videos for. I made tips for it. So at that point, I was kind of I was very busy with work. And I was not competing much anymore. So I figured that it was a great opportunity to create content and help other people that are trying to get into the tournament community for Madden. And eventually, Madden went to a pay to win system. Basically, it went to Madden Ultimate Team, and that was the main competitive type of gameplay for it.
Okay.
And it just really left a bad taste in my mouth. So I just went back to fighting games with MKX, and that's and I played fighting games in the arcade, when I was a kid, and competed in tournaments in the arcade and things like that. But Madden was where it first started, and then it just evolved into MKX, and then ever since then it's been fighting games, and I've loved the change. I absolutely am so happy that I stopped playing Madden and I'm focusing on fighting games now.
Yo, and shout out to Mr. Golden Sports too. He's actually one of a longtime people in the chat over here that's been hanging out with us, and I know he's a big Madden streamer as well.
He
so
is. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
he plays Mortal Kombat. I know he mains Jason too. I watch him on his stream.
He's got a little Jason in there. He's got a little Goro as well. Some Goro gains as well. Hey, everybody in the chat, it's great to see you all. Blue Aura Hippo, nice to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Nice to see everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out today. This is the very first episode of Kuatan Time, where we just kind of sit and chat with some fellow content creators about, to know a little bit more about them. So we're just trying to, form a sense of community here. And of course, we have Mr. Jay Gleez joining us right now. Now, Jay, you said that MKX was the first game that you started creating content for in the fighting game community. Is that correct?
It is. Well, it was right before MKX came out. I made a couple Mortal Kombat 9 videos leading into it, but MKX was when I really first started focusing just on, Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Very interesting. And what characters do you play in the game?
In MKX, my two mains are Sonya and Scorpion. Those are the two characters that I use mostly. Depending on the matchup, throughout the different, nerfs and life cycles of the game, I kind of flip-flop back and forth between the two characters. I played Sonya for probably 75% of the game's life. Once they hit that last patch, I started to play Scorpion in a lot more matchups. But I would say Sonya is probably still my main, top main, and then Scorpion's probably the close number two.
So what do you think? What are your thoughts about Sonya and about Scorpion in the upcoming MK11 game? Do you think that they look pretty buff, or are you excited about either one of them? Or
Yeah, I think Sonya looks really good. I didn't get a chance. I was at the reveal event, and I didn't get a chance to play as much as I wanted with Sonya. I did play a decent amount with Scorpion. And then with the stress tests, I was able to play with Scorpion a lot. And from between the build of the reveal and the stress test, Scorpion actually changed a lot. And I don't know if a lot of people realize that. Like he was safe on a lot of his strings. Like his back 1-4 was safe. Back 1-4-1 was punishable, but you could cancel at the 3 or at the third hit. So like a couple things changed with that. He wasn't what was it? His back 1-4-3 was also safe, but in this build he's basically unsafe on all of his best strings. And with that, it kind of forces you to use Misery Blade to cancel and to stay safe and to confirm into things. And I think in that aspect, it kind of pigeonholes him in MK11, at least in that build. And I think you need almost to have Misery Blade, but I think they're going to change that. I think this was, it was an older build. I don't think they're going to do that to him or any other character where like you have to play a certain variation in order to be, somewhat viable. I think they're going to do their best to try to make every character and every variation as viable as possible. And NRS has been pretty good with that. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, I have heard some light concerns that it's possible that, if they do allow a variation system similar to this, that there's only going to be one like master variation that everybody's going to be going to every time. So that is a little bit of concern that I have heard. But overall, the game looks, smells, and tastes great to me. I want to eat it all up, the whole thing. So graphics wise, it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen ever.
I agree. Yeah, I mean it's awesome. It does smell delicious. I will tell you that for sure.
Or a hippo saying, "I'm hoping for tournament play. Customs aren't allowed." So that's definitely one of those things. We do have to see how this is actually going to flesh out in tournament play going forward. So want to chat a little bit more about the streaming in general. I know you said you've been creating content since MKX as well. How have you seen the community progress since when you first started streaming as opposed to now? Do you think that we're on an upward path of growth for streaming and for content creators, or do you think it's pretty much stagnant from what you've seen from starting from MKX? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I think that it's growing, and it's growing like really quickly. There are a lot of people that are doing, hosting sets, hosting matches, hosting tournaments, and I think that's great. It brings more people in to see, the scene, what people have to offer, and a lot of times they're players that don't necessarily get out to tournaments. Maybe they're a little bit younger, they can't travel, they don't have the funds. Any type of reason why some people can't travel to different events and tournaments, and then they get to showcase their stuff on, say, like Destroyer stream or Ragnarok stream, things like that. And I think that's great because it gives players like that can't travel a whole lot an opportunity to be competitive and to make it worth something for them. And I think that that's just going to bring more people into the scene.
Yeah, I have to really agree with that. I think these past couple of months have been some of the most exciting times for content creators out there. Namely, Destroyer's been putting on these wonderful tournaments. He's got a qualifier happening right now as we speak that he's doing. And shout out to Destroyer FGC, as well as Ragnarok too. He's been doing Combat Mondays for over a year now, and it's been consistent. He's really given a platform for players, like myself, to really go up there and get some good games in with competitors that I may otherwise never run into, like in an online situation. So I think that's really cool. Now, we did have some things happen today. There was the combat cast that happened today. I know that you have seen it already.
I have, yeah.
For any of the people that haven't seen it, I think we're going to just give it a quick watch, real quick, and see this Kotal and Jackie reveal. So I'm going to be playing that right
All right,
now.
cool.
Wow, okay, Kotal can turn into a really cool panther. Is that animalities confirmed, or what are we doing here?
It's one of his variations. He can turn into a jaguar, is what they said. And he
Wow.
had a couple moves off of it too. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I like his headdress is looking a little bit more perky than what I've seen from MKX, so that's really nice as well.
Yeah. I think his design is really good. He's bigger too. I like the way that he's a bigger character, a bigger presence.
Absolutely, absolutely. They look like they've doubled down on Jackie's high tech. Oh my goodness, this saw is crazy though. A little bit. It's a little wild.
Yeah, that saw is pretty nuts.
Okay, okay. All right, showcasing the short hop right there. Looks like he's got that wonderful charge. Is that a overhead or unblockable, possibly?
My stream's a little bit behind yours. I'm not sure exactly which one you're looking at.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no problem. Well, I'll just keep on commenting on it then. You know, it looks to me like they've really gone in on the whole high-techness of Jackie Briggs. So they've kind of fleshed that out a lot more than what it was. Basically, unused variation in Mortal Kombat X, and they've kind of put that in the forefront. So I do like that as well.
Yeah, I think that they did a really good job with Jackie. They made her it's almost like a rebranding of the character. I mean, she
interesting.
Plays like completely different, and she does have projectiles, but you'll see like those leaps and things. She has like a leap like Cheetah kind of does from Injustice, and you know, just the cancels when you watch the actual. You know, not just the reveal, but if you go back and watch the stream that they did, she has cancels, and she gets a lot of pressure. She has different types of command grabs and things like that. It's just a very interesting character.
Wow.
I'm really curious to see like how she turns out.
Yeah, but they've done her really, really well. Oh my goodness. She punches the head inside the body. Wow, that's just insane. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it definitely looks like I think a lot of Jackie fans are going to be pretty happy about this. You know, she looks very, very well done, and that's exciting. So that's cool. Hey, that man Marv, it's great to see you, man. Welcome, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're doing well. So what are your initial thoughts after first seeing this trailer? I mean, what was going through your head after seeing the Kotal and the Jackie gameplay?
Well, when I watched the trailer, there were a few things in the trailer that I didn't quite pick up on until they went over them. One of the things was the leaping ability that Jackie has, and she has like, I don't know how you're going to actually be able to match up, obviously, the you know, the different abilities and special moves. But she can leap, and then she can pounce, and then she can shoot projectiles to the ground when she goes over and jumps. She has like one move where she slams down, similar to her move in Mortal Kombat X. The variables, as far as like putting all those moves together, she could be really ridiculous, like really good. That type of thing, like being able to see what moves you can link together and put together, I think that she has an opportunity to be like really dominant in the game based off of what I see.
Yeah, she looks like they really took a lot of time and care into her moveset. Maybe a little too much care. You know, they really give her some good stuff. So I don't know. We'll see though. You know, let the downplaying begin. Maybe I'm not sure. So well, it's great that they showcase these characters. You know, I was kind of hoping for Devora as well, since you know they've announced her a long time ago, and they haven't really. I think they announced Devora before they announced Jackie. Is that right?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, so she's kind of a little bit behind right now as far as you know being announced. You know, we haven't seen any gameplay of that, so hopefully they kind of roll that out soon. I personally was thinking that they may have you know, brought out more characters by now. Do you get that sense at all that you know they should maybe have a few more roster characters, important ones on the platform already revealed?
Yeah, I do, and I feel like they're almost like running out of time. Like that's what I feel like. Like I just think that they probably are going to start like lumping characters together, like they
Mm-hmm.
did how Injustice they lumped a lot of the female characters together. It was like,
I remember
was it
that
Catwoman,
trailer. Mm-hmm.
Canary, and
Poison Ivy.
Poison
Mm-hmm.
Ivy? Yeah, they like lumped them all together. They'll probably do that for like the Shaolin group, so they'll probably
Mm-hmm.
lump all them together or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they won't do reveals for all of them. Maybe they'll leave some kind of in the dark, especially the new characters. Maybe they won't show all of them. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go, but they are cutting it close here. Like we're, coming
Mm-hmm.
down to
Mm-hmm.
the wire soon. So
Well, that's very interesting. Blue Aura Hippo says on the Combat Cast today, they said there were a lot of reveals at the Comic Expo this Friday. Even called it a list. So I guess they're going to be doing some more reveals initially right now, in line with some of these upcoming events, or.
yeah, and they said that they're also going to release the first DLC character they're going to announce.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking it's probably going to be a guest character.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I just feel like that's just what NRS would do at this point. Like, get everybody hyped up for the guest character. I think they did that with Jason also. He was the first DLC character for MKX. I just
Wow.
feel like that's a good business move. You get like people outside of the Mortal Kombat community to kind of, get hype and understand that, that maybe their favorite character from X movie or from this or that or the other is going to be inside, this game. That'll get them excited to buy it.
Sure, sure, absolutely. I can definitely see that. Now, I want to go back to you a little bit as a streamer, because I know you said you started about 5 years ago with content creation. When you first started streaming on Twitch, how did you start? Basically, I think I get that question a lot. I get a lot of people that ask, "Man, how did you start streaming? What kind of gear should I be getting for this?" Damn, rest in peace, Goro. I'm looking at this stage right now, and I'm getting a little sad. My eyes just teared up a little bit. But how did you start streaming? Did you start with a PC setup, or how'd you get into it? Tell me everything.
Well, what I did was at first, so I had bought a Hapag, and this was like the old Hapag, like the one with like components. It was the original one. And
What is a hog? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
oh, that's okay. A Hapag is a capture card. It's very similar to an Elgato,
Oh, I see.
or
Okay,
an
gotcha.
Avermedia, any of those. But it was like the old school one. And the
Mhm.
reason why I bought it, I was at first I started streaming to Twitch with my
Mhm.
phone. So I had no way to really record footage. Um, so what I would do was I would stream it from my phone to it wasn't even my main page. I would stream it to like another I think it was even Justin TV back then, and I would record matches and stream it and have people watch it, and it would archive. And when I would play money matches and stuff on Virgin Gaming, which was for Madden, I would have evidence when people would quit the game, and I would send links to them, and that's how I would wind up getting paid for those matches when they would quit out. But that was when I first started, and then what I actually did was once Twitch became a thing, I started doing speed running. That was the first thing that I was doing. So I
Okay.
started playing Castlevania and Zelda 2. It was
Mhm.
Castlevania 2 and Zelda 2. And
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
Castlevania 2, at one point, I streamed that for probably about 3 weeks to a month. It was like one summer on a whim. I was like, you know what? Let me try streaming. And I was like, speed running looks cool. I love these old games.
Mhm.
At
Mhm.
one point, I got the third best time for Castlevania 2 for the glitchless run, but
No
it since
kidding.
has dropped. Yeah, since has dropped down to like 13 or
Mhm.
10 or somewhere in that range.
Mhm.
But that's when I first started. I started streaming speed runs. That's what I was doing at first, and it was a PC setup, and it was through the Hapag, which was like the old school capture card. That's where I first started at.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I had never even heard of that before, so I'm glad you explained that to me. I actually started off
Yeah,
with a just streaming from my PlayStation,
nice.
just ready to go, and I really like how accessible streaming is now. You can really just start from a console or from a small device. You don't have to go through your phone. Like, it sounds like you had a pretty complicated setup to begin with. So I'm a little surprised
Yeah.
about that. It's very interesting though. So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Marv says one of Koto's variations is called Goro's Mutilator. That sounds really terrible.
Yeah, I
I
think he
don't like that
named
at
it
all.
that.
Huh?
Yeah, I
Huh?
think he named it that. Like 8 or 16-bit
No.
named it that, I think.
What a
Yeah,
monster. I can't
yeah.
even believe him. Look at these three-tiered totems right here. Kind of looks like a wedding cake. That's very exciting. Um, Anyway, CJL says, "Baby, people say that Jackie is boring, but for me, she is very good. She looks pretty good to me, honestly. Her gameplay is, very flashy. I love what they're doing with the futuristic tech that she has. They really went that way with it instead of giving her the full auto and the shotgun. She didn't really fit her character. This seems like way more her speed. So that's very cool how they redid her like that. And so obviously your streaming setup has progressed a lot since then. You know, as a beginning streamer, if anybody's interested in starting to stream, do you have any general tips for anybody that maybe wants to jump into streaming for the first time, or maybe just like get started with some content for Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, I mean, I would start as low cost as possible because
Mm-hmm.
you may start streaming and then you might realize like I don't really like streaming. So I wouldn't dump like a whole bunch of money into it.
Mm-hmm.
I would start with your PlayStation. Just make sure the one thing that I would make sure that you do is have a decent microphone because a lot
Mm.
of times, like if I go into a stream, I don't mind if it's on like a PlayStation. Some people say like, oh, when you stream from your PlayStation, nobody will watch. If it's good gameplay and you're entertaining, I will watch somebody stream from their PlayStation. I don't care about that. But if the mic has a lot of feedback and echoing and things like that, like I won't listen to it. I know that personally for me.
Wow.
So I think the audio, like the microphone and the balance of the audio, I feel like that is important, and that's something that's rather inexpensive. If you just have
Mm-hmm.
like a generic headset, I know the MSI headset is one of the best headsets for a microphone for the money. It's only like $30.
Mm-hmm.
It's like rave reviews. I mean, if you're gonna invest anything, I think that would be something to invest in, like a good mic. Start streaming from your PlayStation. Have a Twitter, have a way to reach out to people and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
inform them that you're going live. And I think that's the best way to go about it. Just start simple and just progress outward that way.
I really like what you said there about starting the Twitter as well, because I've found that in my own personal journey to start streaming that I've really had a lot of success by communicating with people on other social media platforms as well. The Discord and the Twitter has really helped cultivate a community of really awesome people who I can interact with on a regular basis. And yeah, so I definitely would recommend second that to definitely diversify your different social media platforms as well. Uh,
Absolutely.
Now, you started initially on YouTube, is that correct?
I did. Yeah. YouTube is where I started at.
Okay, great, great, great. And for those who don't know, what's your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is youtube.com/gaming with Gleez.
Okay, very cool, very cool. You post pretty regularly on there, different content videos. For somebody who's just starting out, maybe on YouTube, what would be a good way for them to get into posting videos on YouTube? I mean, should they be creating any specific type of content, or should they just kind of just go for it and record their thoughts, or what do you think would be the easiest access for somebody who's interested in something like that as well?
I think to start, just doing something that you like and doing something that is somewhat different and shows your value as a content creator is important. And that can be different for everyone. When I first started, some of my biggest videos were like tech videos. So like tutorials, and I did like an OBS tutorial. It was my first video that
Mm-hmm.
I made on the YouTube channel, and it was one of my biggest videos. And if you show value to people, whether it's tutorials, and it doesn't have to be like a tech tutorial, it could be a gameplay
Mm-hmm.
tutorial, like maybe like a scorpion combo video, or
Mm.
things where you're going to show your value to someone else. Rather than just not that you can't, but rather than a gameplay video where you're just kind of talking a little bit. But even when you have that opportunity to talk, I always try to make what I say valuable. So I try to
Mm.
make sure that I'm saying something or conveying something to the people that are watching that's going to either be entertaining in some way or get them better as a player. Like I'll go through like what I'm thinking while I'm playing. So like, oh,
Mm.
like I'm going to do this because I think he's going to do that. And, just kind of, just have value. I think just having value in some way is important, and that could be
Mm.
different for everyone.
So you're telling me that if I think that I'm a good Baraka player, and I want to show the world, how to play Baraka just as good as I do. I can go on YouTube and I can showcase that specific thing, and people will get value from that probably.
Absolutely, yeah, I
Wow.
think
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, cool. I just got to shout out Husker in the chat right now. Husker fan, what's up,
Yo.
brother? He says, "Baby and Jay Gleez, it's like an ad hair club for men, except reverse." And
That's why
then
he's one of my favorites.
I know it's
That's
great, man. I
hilarious.
love that guy. Yeah, can't say enough good things about him. He's there, always with the comedic relief.
Uh-huh.
So that's great, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat today. Do you have any final thoughts about the combat cast? Here's the thing, I actually have not seen the full combat cast all the way through. Can you possibly? I know you said you took a few notes
I do. I have
about the
two
cast.
pages of notes actually. That's how much
Okay.
notes I have.
Okay, we'll go through some of it. We'll go through
All
some
right,
of
I won't
that.
go through all of it.
I want to ask you your general opinion. We'll start off with Kotal first because he was showcased first. Tell me what your general impressions of Kotal is, just from them explaining it and also the reveal and everything like that.
Well, he's a good like mid-range character, and they mention that a lot. And it's I know it's like a meme. It's like, oh, how many times are they going to mention that a character is a good mid-range character?
Okay.
But they are like there's characters that are meant to be played at mid-range, and a lot of them are. It's a footsie-based game. They also commented about how Jackie is not like she doesn't have forward advancing moves that reach very far. She does have the one variation with the leap, but a lot of her stuff is up close. So they were talking about how Jackie is played up close best. That's the best that she's suited to play.
Okay. Okay.
As far as Kotal, the one thing that I noticed, his projectile looked really fast. So his disc was really quick. They didn't say whether it was a mid or a high. And I know that traditionally his disc is a mid, but if you have a projectile that is that fast, it's probably not going to be a mid, I would imagine. I noticed also they said at the end, they kind of like slipped this in, like, oh, let me just slip this in real quick. His overhead or his fatal blow is an overhead, Kotal. So he's one of the only characters with like, or at least so far that's been revealed with a fatal blow overhead.
Wow.
But he also has a low starter. So because he has a low starter and he has the overhead, he has like straight up 50-50 mix once he gets his fatal blow.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. So I don't know if the overhead's going to be reactable or not, but that is big. That's pretty game changing, I feel like.
That's kind of scary. I don't know. What do you think NRS was thinking when they did that? Did they think, oh, we're just gonna go for the gusto and just give this guy, the craziest stuff ever? Or
I don't know. I think sometimes they just flip a coin and they're like overhead, and then like, man, they just won. So
why not?
I'm not sure. I don't know why they decide to do particular things like that, but they did.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so Kotal sounds like, it sounds like he really is shaping up to be, as CJL says, the best con. So that's pretty scary. I'm still holding out for Shao Kahn to bring us some pretty exciting things as well. So we'll look out for that. Now, tell me about what your general thoughts are about Jackie. What do you think about her? I saw just a little bit of her. I saw that fatality where she throws she throws the thing in, and it kind of gives it a little that thing. So that's interesting.
It is, yeah. The fatality was really cool.
Very
I
sick.
like the way when the square or whatever it is, the high tech equipment comes out and splits them in half. That part was really awesome. I think that the one thing that she has that's kind of different also, she can tech a grab, and then when she techs a grab, she can amplify, and her grab techs are amplified into her counter grabbing you, and you can still tech it, but it's a counter grab off of a tech grab. It's kind of weird, kind of different. It's a new gameplay mechanic that they've never implemented before, and I'm definitely curious to see how that's going to go. Now, since you can tech it, I mean, someone might be able to react to it. Obviously, we haven't played it yet to, kind of, feel it out, see how it is to tech that grab. But it definitely creates a new dynamic to the game. The one variation that she had that I really liked a lot was the one with the cancels. So it looked like she plays, in close, and she still has the projectiles, which looked pretty good. It seemed like they were kind of saying like, oh, these projectiles are okay, but you can get inside and you can do these cancels. Those projectiles look pretty beefy to me. I don't know. I mean, that was just me watching it. I thought she looked pretty good from a distance. And if she has, decent projectiles with cancels on the inside,
Uh,
where you can cancel, shimmy out, punish people for trying to counter poke and things like that, I think that she could be very good. And that leap is also something you just got to always keep in mind. So maybe
mhm.
trying that variation out. It's very difficult to understand fully how the character will work until you kind of pick the character up and play the character. But based off what I see, I think she has a lot of potential to do a lot of different things from different ranges.
Yeah, I'm just looking at her gameplay right now. It looks like she's really straight up and down, like almost. She doesn't have a very wide stance at all. That kind of complements her short range, which is actually in line with her MKX kind of counterpart. She's always been kind of stumpy.
Yeah.
But she does look pretty cool, and she does look like she has some mix when she gets in. Do want to thank Guario Luna and Batman Gamer 71 also for the follows, and also Batman Gamer 71. Thank you for the host. I really appreciate that. So yeah, that's very interesting. She looks good. I like the way she looks overall. I'm pretty happy with the look over. I can't wait to check out the gameplay. That's pretty interesting as well. Well, I think at this point we've pretty much gone over everything. I want to thank you so much, Jay Gleez, for taking the time to chat today. And also, I'd like to open up the platform to the Twitch chat. If anybody wants to ask any questions to Jay or myself about streaming related things, or about just our general thoughts about Mortal Kombat, we're going to open up the platform to do that right now. If you guys have any of those questions. Batman Gamer 71 says Jackie voice actor is the same voice Vixen from Injustice 2.
Oh, interesting.
Wow. Okay, so
I didn't know that.
so they ported over some of those voice actors from the Injustice game, which I think is pretty cool. They've always had a pretty strong voice actor thing. I'll tell you what, we'll wait on the question, since I don't know how long it's going to take for people to actually ask those.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to wait on them too much. In the meantime, what we'll do is, let's see here. Well, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate that. And actually, we do have a question right now. That man Marv, shout out to Marv.
Cool. Yeah,
Hey,
Marv's the man.
Marv, the question is which characters do you and Gleez see yourselves playing so far? Jay, I'll let you go ahead and go first.
Okay, so in the beta or the stress test, I started off with Scorpion. Traditionally, Scorpion is my favorite character. I always use them in every Mortal Kombat game, but I always have another character that I use for competitive purposes. If Scorpion, doesn't fit the competitive bill, Scarlet was awesome. I had so much fun playing as Scarlet. Her zoning was good. I love the way that her forward 4-3 works. In neutral, you can whiff punish people. Her walk speed is pretty decent. I think that she's just a really, really fun character to play. Right now, it's looking like Scarlet for me.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Well, I had a ton of fun actually playing the character Baraka in the stress test. I thought that he was super fun. As soon as I got the lunge attack and also the gut stab together, I felt like I had a really strong character after that. I was like, okay, these are the ones that are going to do really well. I'm thinking to myself that that may change since the air escapes are so good. I may consider going to the low stab, since it does bleed damage and also restands. That way I don't have to even deal with the air escapes as well. After that, I'm also looking at Shao Kahn as a character. He looks just like just the beefiest monster of my dreams. So he's total beefcake. Looking forward to him. I want to see Collector as well. I really like how many arms he has. So that's very exciting.
That's right up your alley.
Yeah, right in my alley. Yeah, I need someone with 4 arms or 4 legs is what I tell everybody. Give me one of those, and we'll be in a good situation. So, Batman Gamer 71 has a question. He says, "This is for both of you. Which fatal blow do you like in this game?" Well, fatal blow, out of the ones I've seen so far, I would probably say the one that stuck out to me the most was Johnny Cage's fatal blow. where he really kind of breaks that wall a little bit and pops out that golden trophy, and then he does the tee off and the stab. I just thought that was a perfect mix of cheekiness and also brutalityness as well.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I think Johnny Cage, his fatality also is probably my favorite fatality.
It's
So
a good one, right?
yeah,
It
yeah,
is
he's just
pretty
built
nice.
very well. The way they,
Mm-hmm.
worked him is awesome.
Great, great, great. So that's very interesting. Thank you for the questions, Marv, and also Batman Gamer 71. Currents has a question. Currents5 asks, Gleez, what character would you play if you couldn't play Scorpion?
Well, right now, Scarlet, I do like Shao Kahn and Kotal Kahn also. I played a little bit of Kotal Kahn, just kind of recreationally in MKX, but he was always one of my favorite characters also. Just, I like characters also like Darkseid that are, big characters, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily want a character that's a grappler in most
Mm-hmm.
cases. I don't really like playing grapplers too much, but I do like big characters.
Mm.
I'm a big guy, so I associate myself with big characters.
Me
So if I can
too.
play a
Yeah.
big character,
Yeah.
that's I like playing characters like that, but I also like the zone. There's a lot
Yeah.
of things that I like to do
Yeah.
in fighting games. That's why Darkseid kind of always appealed to me. He's like this big beastly character with good zoning capabilities. That
Oh, you're
character
getting me
just kind of fits
excited,
perfectly.
geez, right now. Yeah, I think the more you're talking about it, I'm like, oh
Yeah,
man, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thank you very much for answering that question. Kearns, appreciate asking that. CJL says, just asking, are you going to be playing today or talking? Actually, we're just going to be talking today. There's going to be no gameplay today at all. Thanks for the question, CJL. Marv says, how do you like the feel of this game compared to MKX or other fighters? Well, I will say personally, Marv, after playing the stress test over the weekend and then going back to MKX, I felt like the characters on MKX were light as a feather, and they were, they were just way more. The clutch factor was insane there. So I definitely feel like the characters have a lot more weight to them as far as the way they move and the way they work around the screen. But overall, the special attacks, in my opinion, have a lot of movement as well. So that actually was pretty fun for me. It made me feel like when I pressed the special moves, they had a lot of power behind them. And I actually really like that aspect of it, being able to hit that special and like, boom, there it is. So that was pretty exciting to me. What do you think, Elise?
I like the fact that the game is like a more grounded, neutral heavy type of game, a little bit slower pace. That type of play style just appeals to me more.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even went back to play MKX since the stress test, but I will. I'll play it later this week.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I there's something about MKX that I just love. It's not a game that typically would resonate gameplay wise necessarily with me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I just love Mortal Kombat, and I've have so many memories playing MKX, and the characters are just so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like I feel like MKX is so different too that it's one of those games that we can kind of probably go back and play, years from now, and it'll
Hmm.
still have that luster to it. I feel like, oh, he's doing that broke mix stuff in the corner, and he's got those crazy cancels with Liu Kang going. I just feel like it has a certain charm to it.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta agree with you, Jay. I was saying earlier that I felt like if they had a tournament where they had both games out, I would still be interested in competing in both of them.
I
Just
would too.
because I love the gameplay of MKX. It's completely different from MK11, but I almost think that's a great thing, because it's a completely different style. So it kind of keeps it fun and exciting on both different platforms without kind of bleeding into each other too much. So that's really cool. CJL asks a question. He says, "This is for both of you. How do you feel about the story mode? What do you think about the story mode, Jay? Do you think it's you think it's acceptable, or we saw that
Well,
story trailer?
yeah, I like see Raiden was always a character I was kind of always like on the fence on. Like I wasn't really a huge Raiden fan, but when I see Dark Raiden, now
hmm
that makes me excited to play Raiden. So like a character like that type of change, and the fact that the story's gonna kind of follow him, it looks like,
hmm
how he has changed things in the timeline, and then how Chronica wants to kind of shift things back to the way that she wants it. And the fact that you have like this type of Raiden that we haven't really seen before in the game, that really interests me.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. I gotta agree with you. Raiden's got a tattoo now. He's looking sick. He's looking like a bad boy, coming in riding a Harley. Yeah, he's definitely really cool now. So I like the appeal of that, and I think that overall the story, for me, uh, NRS in previously Midway has always had a pretty rich story. It seems like they've always put a lot of time into that, even going back to the earlier 3D era games as well. Their stories were always really really pretty well done, in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a masterpiece. I'm excited about playing the story mode all the way through when that game comes out. So Batman Gamer, hey, what's up, man? Hey, thank you, CJL, for the question. Batman Gamer 71 says this is for both. Story mode is 8 hours long. Which difficulty are you going to play? Hard or normal difficulty? I am not like really good with all of the different characters, so I'm going to be playing on extra medium. Batman Gamer. Well, what about you, Jay Gleez? Are you gonna go for the gusto or
no? Go, plus, I played the classic tower when they released that, and I tried to play it on very hard.
Yeah,
these dudes were flawless blocking everything, like
oh
everything
really?
I threw out there. Yeah, it was crazy. So no, I will not be playing it on very hard or hard.
Okay,
I'll be playing it on medium.
Nice. Okay, well that's cool. I don't think it'd be very exciting to watch me die on stream. Constantly. Wouldn't be fun for me for sure. Hey, D Nice, great to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. D Nice says hi. I think that on Friday at the comic event they're saying first DLC fighter named. I think it will be Spawn because it's a comic event. If this happens, I might cry and be so happy. This is a comic convention. That's absolutely true. Do you think that's a fair assessment, Jay?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it might be Spawn. One thing, I don't know, like it's a comic event, so I'm gonna have to go with Spawn. Yeah, I do think they're gonna dip into the horror genre, but I don't think it's gonna be now. I think he's right. I think in the comic convention, Spawn seems like the perfect pick for that.
Absolutely. I got to agree with you there. So that's something definitely to look forward to. Pretty hype. Sins, what's up, bro? Did you see Kotal Khan? Yeah, we saw Kotal a little bit ago. He looks pretty sick. I like his moves. I can't wait to go back and rewatch the combat cast that I haven't seen yet. So that'll be a lot of fun. Great to see you, man. Let's see here. This is for both of you. Batman Gamer asks, how to get better online? More practice? I think there's a question mark at the end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Okay.
Yeah, I think like practicing specifically, like I have a general type of, I guess, like chart that I have in my head of like things that I look at with a character. So I look at, their ranges, like I just look at all their regular buttons. I look through the list of their strings and what is safe, what isn't safe, what is a mix, what's overhead low. I look for anti-airs. I look for all the basic stuff. I don't go in like, all right, I'm gonna learn the biggest combo that I can with this character. Combos for me typically, if I can get like just like decent damage to start, that comes last because I can always remember and master combos later. It's all about like the neutral game. Like, what's my fastest Punisher? Like, how do I mix my opponent? How do I open them up? What's the best jump in? How do I anti-air? Like, all of those things are the things that I look at. What's my best poke? Those are the kinds of things that I look at when I go to practice mode with a character.
Absolutely. I have to 100% agree with you right there. The learning the specific gameplay situations are much more important than actually learning the combos because then they've even toned down the combos moving forward. So these are much easier combos to execute now in MK11 than we saw in MKX. So they're putting even less of a focus on that. I would say if you're in the training mode and you want to get a little bit better, practice those anti-airs, standing and crouching. Be ready for those. Be ready for those punishes, like Jay said, and those counter hits as well. Those are really going to help you out in the future. And then also, I like to for some bonus points, I like to check out what kind of pressure options I have out of the character too. You know, what things at certain ranges can I get away with pestering my opponent with, where they can't really touch me afterwards. You know,
Yep.
see if maybe I can a little bait out a little something. Maybe they can feel like they want to come forward and get knocked up a little bit. Okay. Batman Gamer has a question. We'll take maybe one or two more questions, and then we'll kind of finish it up here. Batman Gamer says, "This is for both of you. Which stage do you like in the game, and Fatality 2?" I'll let you go first, Jay.
All right, cool. I like the stage that they showed. It looks like it's like some type of Coliseum they showed in the reveal trailer. I'm guessing it's like somewhere where Kuatan, I guess, is like, wherever he's at this point in the storyline. That's what it looks like. It looked like there were like his type of people, like all across the top is what it looked like. That level looked sick, and in the background you can see like a portal kind of like fizzling. Like, I don't even know what it was. I was very taken aback by it. I thought it was pretty cool looking. And the fatality, Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is my favorite one.
Okay, that's pretty good. I'm definitely partial to Goro's Lair. It's sad to me. I have a lot of emotions wrapped up in it, swirling around in my chest. But at the end of the day, I want to be there for Goro, even if he is on the throne, deceased. I want to be there on his stage in his presence because he deserves it. So I'll be probably doing all of my training on that stage exclusively. So it should be pretty cool. So that's very cool. Fatality wise, they just keep getting better and better. And at this point, it's almost impossible for me to pick one that I think is just the best one. I think if I had to pick one that absolutely sickened me, which is interesting because I usually don't get grossed out or anything like that. I feel like I'm one of those desensitized kind of people, but that second Garrus fatality where he throws him into the stone and then just rips off their skin from the hand was viscerally, like, I felt something in my gut where it was a little nauseous, and I love that. So
yeah, that one was brutal.
Yeah, it was definitely scary. Sins makes a good point here. Just to go back to the training question, mention learn your plus frames. Yep, absolutely. Definitely want to learn those too. That goes along with learning those pressure things as well for the opponent. Let's see here. Marv says, we'll take one more question. Hey, Terminator 911, great to see you. Sup, baby? Combat Cast was incredible. Awesome, man. I can't wait to look at that as well. It's great to see you. Last question from Marv. What was the first MK game for you guys? So, for me personally, it was Mortal Kombat 1 on Sega Genesis. That was my weapon of choice. As a child, I had the Sega Genesis. I had the Mortal Kombat game, along with a handful of others. I think I had the Terminator game, which was like a random game, and then also Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with the Knuckles expansion. Where you stack the cartridge on top of the cartridge. Classic. Oh yeah. You already know. That's how you get that's the old school DLC right there. So yeah, definitely Mortal Kombat was my first game on that. Shout out to the Blood Code and everything that came along with that game. So yeah, that was my first. What about you, Jay?
Well, the first time I played Mortal Kombat was in the arcade. It was the original one, and I was still real big into Street Fighter. And this was when Mortal Kombat first came out. And when you used to go to the arcade for Street Fighter, there were tons of people. I'm talking like 20. There were maybe 6 cabinets at the arcade, like 10 or 15 people at each one. And it was still like that around where I was, or I should say, like where my home was. And I went down to the shore, the Jersey Shore, and this other game had all these people around it. And I'm over here playing Street Fighter. There's all these empty cabinets of Street Fighter, and I'm playing Street Fighter, and I'm looking over, and I'm like, what are all these people playing? They're not over here playing Street Fighter. I walked over there, and that's what it was. It was Mortal Kombat. That was the first time that I ever played it. It was in the arcade down the shore. It was like when it first came out, it was like one of the only places that had it. And there were so many people lined up to play the game. But it was really cool. I got whooped pretty badly, and it was kind of like heartbreaking because I used to kill everybody in Street Fighter 2, and then I got hopped on Mortal Kombat. I got a little disheartened, but eventually
Dang.
things turned around. You know.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Well, guys, thank you so much for those questions. We really appreciate all of those, and I really appreciate you participating today. This has been Kuatan Time with Baby featuring Jay Gleez. Thank you so much for taking the time today, man.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a little something special for you. This is the first time we've ever done this show, but I want to introduce this little piece right here. And it's going to be a game show. So let's go ahead and get this thing started right now. All right, Jay. So here's how this is going to work, man. I'm going to be asking you a few questions, okay? I have 3 trivia questions that I'm going to be asking for you, okay? And what you need to do is basically answer these multiple choice questions, okay? Now, each question that you get right out of these 3 is going to be equal 1 gifted sub for your stream channel. So we definitely want to make sure that you get the most out of this right now. Okay? So, right, cool. So are you ready?
Thanks. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So the first question is...
I hope I don't get anything obvious wrong, because then I'll feel real bad. But go ahead.
These are going to be multiple choice questions. I think you'll be okay. All
right, here we go.
You have a 1 in 3 chance of getting this.
That's good odds. That's really good odds.
All right, the very first question is...
Okay.
What year was the Mortal Kombat movie released? Okay. And then A, 1995. B, 1993. C, 1991.
I'm going to go with 1995.
1995, huh? Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
All right, you got it right. Congratulations, dude. That's 1 gifted sub for Jay Gleez's channel right here. We got 2 more questions for you, man. Okay?
All right, here we go.
Okay, here we go. Correct. You won. Okay. Cue the music. Not including guest characters and including Mortal Kombat 11. Okay. How many total original Mortal Kombat characters are there? A, 84. B, 76. C, 93.
God, that's a wild answer. Like, that's a wild question. I don't know. There's so many.
How many characters?
What was the first one?
A, 84.
I'm going to say 84. A.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. That's the incorrect answer. The correct answer was 76.
76.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
It's 76. I know. We're not giving away these subs for free, man. Okay, you got 1 more question though. It's okay. You've done well so far. You still have a chance to really bring it back here. This next question is going to be character specific.
Okay.
Has to do with Sonya Blade.
Okay.
As we all know in MK11, Ronda Rousey is the new voice actor for Sonya Blade, and replaced this actor from MKX. Who was the voice actor for MKX? The answer A is Trisha Helfer. Okay. Question B is Tara Strong. And C is Grey Delisle. Out of those 3, which voice actor was the voice of Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat X?
A,
Trisha Helfer. Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Jay, you got it right, man. It's A. Congratulations. You have won 2. Count them 2 gifted subs to Jay Gleez's channel. Congratulations. Woo!
Hey,
give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. He's done so well. Okay, all right, great, man. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out today. We really appreciate you sitting on this very first episode of Kuatan Time. You know, we'll be doing more of these in the future, hopefully. And Jay, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us today. We really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. I had a great time. Thank you for having me.
Can you please tell us, Jay, where we can find you on your social media as well as your content creation platforms?
Sure. On Twitch, you can find me at Jay Gleez. On YouTube, Gaming with Gleez. And on Twitter, which is where I post most of the events and things that I throw. That's probably the best spot to follow me if you want to play in tournaments or the spotlight. That's Twitter. My handle is at Big J Gleez.
All right, I'm following you right now, man. Yeah.
All right.
I'm giving you a big follow right now. I can't wait. Thank you so much again, guys. This has been an episode of Kuatan Time. Really appreciate you taking the time to chat today, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
See you guys.